The Human Genome Project was a research project done to map and sequence the 20,000 to 25,000 genes that make up the human genome. The human genome is all of the DNA in a living organism, including the 3.2 million base pairs of DNA that we are made up of. It's basically the instruction manual on how we function. The primary goal of the project was to find genetic predispositions. With the ability to sequence our DNA, a person can potentially find out information about predispositions to genetic disorders that have been passed down to them from generations before them.
When you get sick, it is a bug in your genome. In fact, many diseases we have struggled with for a long time, like cancer, we haven't been able to cure because we just don't understand how it works at the genomic level. We are starting to understand that. So up to this point, we try to fix it by using what I call shit-against-the-wall pharmacology, which means, well, let's just throw chemicals at it and maybe it's going to make it work. But if you really understand why does a cell go from normal cell to cancer, what is the code? What are the exact instructions that are making it do that? Then you can go about the process of trying to fix it and figure it out.
What does this mean for medicine? So a woman, age 37, she presents with stage 2 estrogen receptor positive breast cancer. She is treated with surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. She goes home. 2 years later, she comes back with stage 3C ovarian cancer, unfortunately treated again with surgery and chemotherapy. Comes back 3 years later at age 42 with more ovarian cancer, more chemotherapy. 6 months later, she comes back with acute myeloid leukemia. She goes into respiratory failure and dies 8 days later. So first, the way in which this woman was treated in as little as 10 years will look like bloodletting. And it's because of people like my colleague Rick Wilson at the Genome Institute at Washington University, who decided to take a look at this woman post-mortem. And he took skin cells, healthy skin, and cancerous bone marrow, and he sequenced the whole genomes of both of them, right? In a couple weeks, no big deal, right? And then he compared those two genomes in software, and what he found, among other things, was a deletion, a 2,000 base deletion across 3 billion bases, right? In a particular gene called TP53, if you have this deleterious mutation in this gene, you're 90% likely to get cancer in your life. So unfortunately, this doesn't help this woman, but it does have profound, if you will, implications to her family, right? I mean, if they have the same mutation and they get this genetic test and they understand it, then they can go and get regular screens and they can catch cancer early and potentially live a significantly longer life.
There are some ethical concerns that many people have with the project. One of the concerns is the discrimination that insurance companies will show if they see that someone has the predisposition to a genetic disorder. The issue is that this person would either receive very expensive insurance or be rejected completely from purchasing that insurance because of the information gathered by the genetic test. Another concern is that there will be discrimination against those who are predisposed to genetic diseases by future employers. If the employer can see the results of the genetic testing, it is a concern that they will either not hire the person or terminate the employment because of the results of the test or a family history of a disorder. There are also concerns about whether a person should reproduce if they know about a genetic disorder that could be passed down to their child. What is the ethical response to a future mother or father who knows that they have a genetic predisposition to a disorder? Should that person terminate the pregnancy, or should they give birth to a child that could potentially have a genetic disorder? Those are some of the questions that are raised regarding the results of genetic testing and reproduction. A solution to some of these issues is the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act. This act has two parts that concentrate on a couple of the major issues of the Human Genome Project. The first part makes it against the law for a health insurer to use genetic test results or family health history as a result to deny you health insurance or decide how much you pay for your health insurance. The second part of this act makes it against the law for your employer to use family history and genetic testing results in making decisions about your employment.